Hey, this is Ryan of Happy Healthy Vegan. I was just watching a video of Neil Degrasse Tyson talking about genetically modified foods. I was quite excited to see what he had to say. He's a huge influence on me. I think what he did with the Cosmos series, bringing it to a modern audience and inspiring people to have a passion for science, great job. You know, I was a huge fan of the series in the 70s. Carl Sagan, giant influence on my life's trajectory for sure. Well, anyway, let's see what Neil had to say here about GMO foods. It must be something really insightful and hard-hitting.
What most people don't know, but they should, is that practically every food you buy in a store for consumption by humans is genetically modified food.
Well, Neil, there's no doubt you're a very accomplished astrophysicist, one of the leading in your field in the world, but genetically modified foods, far, far away from your wheelhouse here. No.
You list all the fruit and all the vegetables and ask yourself, is there a wild counterpart to this? If there is, it's not as large, it's not as sweet, it's not as juicy, and it has way more seeds in it. We have systematically genetically modified all the foods, the vegetables and animals that we have eaten ever since we cultivated them. It's called artificial selection. That's how we genetically modified them.
Well, yes, artificial selection is the process of humans selecting which traits they want to breed into future generations of plants or animals.
The rootstocks often come from wild tomato lines that are not domesticated for consumption. And by grafting, we can put on a fruiting variety, or what we call a scion, onto that hardy rootstock. The top variety can be almost whatever tomato we want. It can be an heirloom, it can be a hybrid, it can be different color, it can be different shapes. So we get the best attributes of two different varieties.
Genetic modification is a high-tech process that hasn't been going on for hundreds or thousands of years. It involves selecting the genes from one species and putting them into a whole nother species in a way that would never occur naturally. Well, let's see what the World Health Organization has to say what GMO technologies are. Genetically modified foods are foods derived from organisms whose genetic material, DNA, has been modified in a way that does not occur naturally. Here's a great example. A scientist knew about an Arctic flounder that could survive at really cold, freezing temperatures, and he wanted to combine that trait of survival in cold temperatures with tomatoes, making them more frost resistant. So that's what they did. They took a gene from two creatures that would never mate ever in the wild. A flounder, which is a fish, and a tomato. So now, yeah, you got some animal genes in that tomato to make it more frost resistant.
There's no wild cows.
Yeah, humans selectively bred cows to their big, fatty kind that we see now.
So now we can do it in a lab? All of a sudden you're going to complain?
Yeah, because in nature, a flounder and a tomato would never breed. Or in the case of like BT corn or Monsanto soy, you have bacteria genes inserted in with genes from corn or soy. That would never happen in nature.
After 12 years of searching, Monsanto found a soil bacteria that is naturally immune to Roundup herbicide. Their goal was to genetically engineer DNA from these bacteria into various plants. They cut out a sequence of DNA that is resistant to Roundup. But if this DNA sequence alone is inserted into a corn plant, it will have no effect. So the next step involves E. coli bacteria.
If you're the complainer type, go back and eat the apples that grow wild. You know something? They're this big and they're tart. They're not sweet like red delicious apples. We manufactured those.
Yeah, humans manufactured apples to get bigger and sweeter over breeding different apples together to create modern red delicious apples. But it's not splicing a gene from a bacterium or frog and put it into an apple. That's a whole nother matter, Neil.
That's a genetic modification.
This is not genetic modification. An apple breeding with another apple is a process that happens naturally and therefore is not genetic modification. A flounder mating with a tomato, not natural and therefore GMO.
So we are creating and modifying the biology of the world to serve our needs. I don't have a problem with that because we've been doing that for tens of thousands of years.
No, Neil, we haven't been taking the genes of a bacteria or a fish and splicing that into a vegetable or fruit for tens of thousands of years. That's GMO technology. It's high tech. It's only been going on for a couple decades. You need a lot of education. You need a lot of high tech equipment to do that. It's a whole different ball of wax than unnatural selection. Like, say, people who breed dogs to have fluffier ears or cats to be hairless. Heck, even out in my yard here, I'll harvest my nasturtium seeds, try to encourage more ones with yellow flower petals than, say, orange flower petals. That's a whole different thing from GMO technology, so don't get the two confused, and that's why I've made this video. I see this in the comments all the time, that all our foods are GMO, and now to see someone as authoritative and educated as Neil Degrasse Tyson making the same mistake, failing to make the proper distinction between artificial selection and genetically modified organisms. Huge distinction. So that's why I made this video. So post your questions and comments down below here. What do you think about GMO versus unnatural selection? Do you really think they're the same thing? Do you really think it's the same thing to like breed a fluffier dog as it is to like take a gene from a bacteria and splice it into a tomato? I don't think so. Anyway, let me know what you think down below. If you got some of this video, hit like, and let me know if you're a Neil Degrasse Tyson fan too, by the way. Comment down there about that. Share this video with a friend who thinks GMO foods have been with us forever, since humans have been eating food. And if you're new, hit subscribe for more from me and Angie here at Happy Healthy Vegan. So until next time, not only keep it carb, keep it GMO free, baby.
I'm amazed how much objection genetically modified foods are receiving. I don't have a problem with that because we've been doing that for tens of thousands of years. So chill out.